Good morning, DigiDs, to a beautiful sunrise over the Kerbal Space Center with the sun rising right there over the horizon, bringing us some bright sunshine, some great ideas to today's new adventures. Just like last episode, I mentioned that today we're going to be trying to get more primarily focusing on science. We have no limitation to our budget, so we still need to go bigger. We need to go better. We need to go more convoluted and complicated in general. We need more parts. We need more decouples. So how about we try to get ourselves at least orbiting around the moon, get ourselves a whole bunch of science, and try to get ourselves some landing legs and capabilities to land on the moon, and start to explore the solar system. So hey, if you guys want to see more content on Kerbal Space Program 2, then feel free to like the video, comment down below, and really show me that interaction to let me know, as a small creator, that you guys want to see more of this content. I really do appreciate it. And I think tomorrow we're going to be doing Dome Keeper on an endless survival mode, because I promised you guys that content long ago, and I never managed to kind of, do it. So keep an eye out for that content, and so subscribe if you want to see something like that, because it'll let you be alerted. But hey, enough talk, enough rambling, enough sitting here at the main menu, which, although I still gotta say, that is a beautiful sunrise. Like, honestly, like that's reflecting off the water, is kind of coming in as like a nice red hue off the side. Let's go ahead and fast forward time a little bit, see as like the sun rises. Ah, yeah, now that this game, it really is something else. All right, let's get designing over here in the vehicle assembly building. So we are trying to get to the moon, right? Now, I believe we actually have a little bit of science left over from last episode. Last episode, we went to the Arctic, and we got a little bit of science kind of landing in the mountain region of the North Pole and kind of doing along that. So if we go to the research and development station, we have 18 science, which is not a lot really to unlock anything except introductory construction. Introductory construction, although not necessarily that impressive, it does have a couple of things that I do like about it. One is the launch clamp, something that holds you a little bit more still, kind of works well for your larger and or taller rockets that might have some problems, not wobbling around on the launch pad. But secondly, the most important thing is that we had a stack bicoupler. So basically a decoupler goes into a stack of 2 instead of just 1, so you can kind of double up on some of your engines. As well, we do also have something like a structural fuselage, something that adds just a little bit of structural integrity in between if you don't want fuel, but something to just kind of be there to, just give you structural integrity in general. Something to just sit there and be kind of a placeholder. It's a really nice addition right there, instead of having a fuel tank and running it down to 0, because those are pretty weak. Sometimes the structural kind of, fuselages are good to land on because they have good, tolerances for, hitting something. Let's go ahead and unlock this introductory construction. It does actually kind of unlock a few more things around here, but not necessarily anything that we have science for. But let's go back to the, what are they, VAB. I'm trying to think of the full name, Vehicle Assembly Building. But let's just keep it calling it VAB. So now that we have a little bit more parts unlocked, how about we try to design ourselves something that can get all the way to the top? Now, we do have the bi-decouplers that we just unlocked, right? So let's go ahead and put a wheel stabilizer on there. We're gonna need our science. Where is our science? We have science right here. We have a science junior. Fantastic. So that is kind of our basis of a pod that we need to go ahead and land with. With that being said, we want to also put on these parachutes because we are going to be trying to land back on down to Kerbin. Ooh, getting a little bit too close inside there. We are going to be trying to land back on Kerbin. So we want to make sure that we have proper, capabilities to slow us all the way down. I think those are radial mount chutes, and I am going to need, don't need those. I need drogue chutes. Drogue chutes are able to deploy at faster speeds at higher altitudes and kind of help drag and slow you down, at higher velocities compared to your regular chute. So those can kind of help, trying to get rid of that initial velocity coming into the atmosphere, which is pretty good. So on the bottom side though, I am a little bit worried. We have seen instances where even landing with these 3 parachutes, you come in fast enough that you might break the Science Junior on the bottom. So with that being said, I think I'm going to put the Science Junior there. I'm going to put the reaction wheel on the bottom. I think the reaction wheel on the bottom, that is the reaction wheel, right? Go ahead and stabilizer, that is, yeah, I'm just to make sure. Okay, yeah, that is the reaction wheel. So that way that will break instead of the Science Junior if we do end up hitting the ground a little bit too hard. Although we don't really necessarily have anything for like thermal. Yes, we do. We have a heat shield. The heat shield is also going to help out for kind of stuff like that. All right, so now let's see here. We have, where is our structural? Because our structural, I believe, aerodynamic structures, where is our adapter? Ah, here's our adapter. Our bi-decoupler kind of, our bi-decoupler adapter, trying to say that fast, is going to be right here. Now, how do I want to do this? I kind of want to, double up, I kind of want to double up on the fuel capabilities here. Just go ahead and just, put it right there. And then we go ahead and put some small little Methalox engines on here, just enough to give us a little bit of propulsion to go through space, because they are going to be more lightweight So they're gonna have less weight, kind of put themselves better. They have better specific impulse while in space. So their max thrust is 30.4 kilonewtons, which is obviously a lot less than the rest of these. However, I think for a vacuum, yeah, ISP specific impulse in vacuum is 305 seconds for the Reliant, 320 for the Swivel, and 335 for the Terrier. And that is essentially just saying how efficient it is in terms of fuel flow towards the amount that you have while in space and zero gravity. So a specific impulse of 335 seconds is better using the Terrier compared to the other ones, especially since this is going to be basically our orbiting stage. But now the question is, how do we recenter this? Because doesn't this kind of mean that we're always going to be a little bit off center? I don't think there's any way. Can I turn it upside down? If I go back to structure and go back to the decoupler, if I just like turn this thing upside down and rotate this, symmetry placement failed, cannot be done. Why can it not be done? Hang on a second. What do you mean it can't be done? Oh, it's because it's trying to double up on those. Let's not do that. We only need a single piece. Turn it upside down. Boom, there we go. It doesn't seem to build the fairing on one side. Maybe it's because it's only counting it as technically being attached on this left-hand side. So to fix that, I'm actually going to go ahead and wait. No, we need, is this going to count? They don't count as decouplers. Okay. So these aren't necessarily decouplers right there either. So I need to make sure I put a decoupler right there on that side. Yeah, now we're talking. Now we're talking. So it is going to be built off of kind of that front right there. But to kind of, you know, what do you call it? To supplement that issue of it being kind of lopsided, I'm going to go ahead and strut this the hell up. I'm going to strut this as much as I possibly can. We don't even need this to be symmetry mode. I just want this to be on this piece right here. I'm gonna have to build this on single pieces. Go ahead and attach this down. Can I not attach this somewhere? Hang on a second. We're strut. Let's do on that. It's not liking me actually attaching this for some odd reason. Hang on a second. Can we do this? We need to be on symmetry mode. Let's go ahead and put it down to just one. Yep. Attach right there. Are you not gonna like it when we attach some places? Oh, what's going on here? What's going on here? I know we can kind of attach it to each other right here, you know, via that way, but I kind of want to attach it via this decoupler side right here, you know, because that way we can go ahead and make sure that it stays stable with it. Ooh, it is kind of being moved around. Work with me here, game. Work with me. Okay, I think we're gonna have to cut our losses for the game right now. Go ahead and just kind of strut these up together on this backside. Make sure that they are completely aligned up and sharing their equal load of stress along the rocket. You know, this is still a very kind of early access game with Kerbal Space Program 2. I know it's more, people might kind of treat it like a full release at this point, but it is essentially early access. You know, there are still quite a number of bugs along with the game. And, you know, it is still being improved every day, or at least with every single update. The developers really show it a lot of love. So I'm glad to see that it is still progressing along and it's not going to stay in a broken state forever. You know, with all the updates that they have added, I can already tell that the game is running a lot better, and I am honest, it brings warmth to my heart. So hey, to those of you who've been a little bit, you know, hesitant about maybe buying the game in general, simply because, you know, there was a lot of, you know, hubbub around it initially about it being, you know, kind of a little bit unpolished and unfinished, and, you know, for the most part, I would say it still kind of is. But if you've been holding off, you've been kind of waiting for it to get a little bit better, honestly, I would say at this point it is a lot better. It's a worthy game of playing now. You know, you can still have lots of fun with it, especially now with the science, you know, edition. You kind of have a little bit more of a progression tree that you can kind of work with together and, you know, move along, have a sense of, you know, have a sense of an objective. If I can stop stumbling over my words, which I do at least a couple times per video, you know. But hey, okay, so I think to start off, we have a few stages that are going on here, right? So we have the center stage, it's gonna be the re-entry stage, right? So this can decouple. Where do I want to decouple this? Honestly, I kind of want to decouple it. I didn't add one right there. We need a decoupler right there, which reminds me, remember, because that is not a decoupler. It is just a structural thing. Okay, so we have the two drogue chutes. Last one, there we go. That's going to be that one. Okay, so now take a look at this. We need all 5 engines to fire. And now after those are done being fired, we have this decoupler right here. This decoupler is going to, you know, decouple. And then these 2 engines are going to fire off. And then after those 2 engines fire off, we can use the decoupler up here at the top. Where is that decoupler? That decoupler is right. Oh, wait, we have 2? Why does it say 2? Which, where's the other? Okay, so new group, this decoupler is going to be in this stage up here at the top, because we want this one to go off before we use the parachutes. That one there is going to be highlighted pieces up there. and this other decoupler is the one that's down here on the bottom. Okay, now I see where the sense is coming in, because now here on the bottom, we want to kind of do something a little bit similar to all these engines, all these solid fuel boosters going off in the very center. We want to do something a little bit similar where we just want to attach all of these, just a whole bunch, all the way through, non-stop. I mean, honestly, let's just straight up just like 8 times it and just put it on and slap it on and call it good. You know, I mean, what could go wrong? Nothing could stop us at this point. This could be good enough to get us to the moon. Maybe that might seem we might be cutting it close. We might be cutting it close. You know, instead of trying to orbit, let's give it a launch. Let's give it a launch and see what happens. First of all, is it even gonna stay upward? It is staying upward. And you know what? One thing I really appreciate about the game is the fact that before, back when I used to play this all the time, I did used to do episodes on this game before, to, you know, taking a look when it first released. And at that point, you can see how broken it was. Made lots of different planes and kind of go in different biomes, and I still kind of want to do that at some point. But you know, hey, we did all that, but it was very broken. And a lot of times when I came to the landing pad like this to launch a rocket, it would instantly just break itself apart and fling into a million pieces, and I would have to reload the entire game even to make it work. So in anticipation of being excited the fact that this even works in general, let's launch this candle. Let's light this candle. All 9 rockets. Right, so all 9 rockets launching off did not appear to work very well. And this does not appear to be working very well. So let's go ahead and detach and launch the next wave of rockets. Off we go. I'm not really sure what happened down there. We didn't see. Hang on, let's revert to the vehicle assembly. What happened? Why did we not leave the ground? We just immediately overheated and like half the engines broke after like half a second. Is it because we actually have too many engines down at the bottom? You know, that would be fair. That would be a fair surmise. Let's do like 6 pieces instead of 8. You know, maybe 6 is going to be good enough. Maybe they'll be spread out enough that they won't be as much of an issue. And let's actually have something to do with the flag. I was a little bit worried about when I did originally plant the flag that it might be an issue, that I might be like getting stuck in it or something. Because right now I am, see, now that I have less than 8 pieces, I'm not inside the flag. I wonder if I can get rid of that flag at all. All right, let's see if I blow up this time. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we're doing a lot better this time. Maybe I should try 8, you know, candles again and see if that works a little bit better, you know. Just maybe it was just a little bit of a fluke that one time. So keep on the prograde, just keep on going straight. Where is the moon? The moon is kind of on the other side, so I can't really do just a straightforward approach to this entire system, but I think we can make something work. If we just use all of these to go completely up and vertical, and then use the rest of our solid rocket motors to just go completely horizontal, we might be able to circularize ourselves with a little bit enough orbital velocity to try to push ourselves out to the moon. But you know what? We are gonna get, oh, we have actually new science. Submit mission briefs. Oh, that's right. We didn't bring any, I need electrical charge. Well, I suppose this is gonna be a little bit more of an experimental run. Let's see how far we can get with this. Our apoapsis is at 60,000, 70,000. All right, let's start tilting over. Start tilting over and start circularizing our orbit. We are not getting much tilt out of this actually at all. Trying to tilt over, we are getting close to nothing, but we are pushing our apoapsis up super high right now. So we are gonna be able to get a little bit out of that, you know, using our orbital kind of stage. Detach this, keep on moving through. We are a lot more maneuverable now. You know, maybe I wouldn't stumble over my words so much if I just stopped talking so fast, you know, but you know, hey, what's the point of that? Let's time warp all the way up to the top of our apoapsis, because that is where we have the most efficiency out of the rest of our fuel to push out our kind of, you know, our trajectory all the way into an orbital velocity, because you want to be all the way out where the gravity's gonna be weakest, you're gonna be kind of slowest, where you can just kind of push out your trajectory all the way around and get that, you know, orbital mechanics kind of working there. We are time warping all the way up to the top of our arc here. And you know, hey, do you guys understand about what is about everything that is happening here, you know, in general too? If you guys have any, you know, questions about the game, apoapsis, you know, periapsis, you know, retrograde, prograde, you know, I did explain a lot of this in the first episodes, but you know, hey, so feel free to check out that episode if you want to get a little bit of a refresher. But you know, in general, the apoapsis is your highest point, your prograde is forward, retrograde is backwards, and that's probably like your most important ones. And your periapsis is your lowest point. And all you really need to know in this instance is the fact that once we get up to our highest point, we're going to want to use the rest of our fuel to try to circularize, simply because we're just, yeah, again, we're going to be getting the most fuel efficiency at our highest point rather than all the way down at the bottom. So we are doing pretty good. Time warp is actually going kind of slow now to think, but we're stuck at like ×3. We may have been doing it while we were still in the atmosphere, so it's kind of taking a little bit longer. Yeah, there we go. Now it's going up to ×4. Okay, let's do that. Okay, time warp, out of time warp, and let's just start blasting. Start blasting prograde. Let's see, are we gonna be able to get actually good velocity out of this? Our speed is not exactly increasing very fast. Yeah, not exactly getting there. Okay, let's go ahead and revert to the vehicle assembly because we do need to have a little bit of battery power, I think, on the rocket. We may have to transmit some, if not a lot, of this data back because, you know, in general, I'm a little bit worried about sometimes the mission failing. So if I can just go ahead and transmit a lot of this data without having to worry about that, then, you know, then hey, if the rocket blows up, then we don't have to restart. Then, you know, then the rocket just blows up. You know, sorry, so sad. You know, oh well. Let's get the decouplers out. Put on the decouplers, the radio decouplers. Put on a ×8 because I would love to get this ×8 working. This is going to be a great opportunity to actually get this all the way up into orbit for us. Are we not going to be on? We are on top of the flag. I'm still a little bit worried about the flag. No, okay, we can move. We can move outside the flag. It was literally just because we were all stuck together. Because all the engines are too close to each other. They blew each other up. But it's working now. It's working now. We've got all 8 engines lighting us up to the atmosphere. Oh, and very, very nice. Okay, now this might actually help us get into orbit because that is beautiful. That's 2 extra engines here that is just putting us even higher. These alone might have the capability to put us like real far into space. Let's see here. How high is it gonna get us? It's only getting us to about 25 right now. I'm gonna estimate 47. Come on. No, we're going past 47. We're going up to 57,000 for apoapsis. Okay, now I'm gonna activate these last solid fuel rockets, get us all the way up as high as we possibly can. Well, why did we detach? How did we detach? We broke? What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? Oh god. Detach that. Wait, I became this? Oh, the whole rocket like broke apart somehow. Excuse me? Okay, revert to VAB, I suppose. The rocket broke apart and I was controlling just that central core section. What happened? How did you manage to break apart? You're completely attached together. That shouldn't be an issue. You know what? You know, I liked the design. I really did like the design and what we had going on there, but you know what? It's not gonna work out. It's just not gonna work out for us. You know, I really did like that bi-decoupler design, but you know, hey, sometimes if it's just not working, it's just not working. So we're gonna go a little bit more, we're going a little bit more, central and, we're gonna go a little bit more, mainstream with our type of design here because, it's so boring. We're side rockets, all this stuff. I guess, it's all right. I suppose. So we got these 9 rockets launching, right? And then after these 9 rockets launch, we want to detach and fire off these 5 rockets, right? And then after these 5 rockets, we want to move this decoupler up to the top because after those 5 rockets launch off, we want to activate our final engine, which is going to be this one up here. There we go. So that's going to decouple and activate the engine at the same time. And then we still have our final decoupler for when we come back into the atmosphere. And these 8 decouplers are not going to matter because they're just down here to hold a little bit of support for them. So that is doing pretty good. And I kind of want to actually take these engines here. Can I get a good angle on the decoupler at all? Yes, I can. There we go. Because I want to take this decoupler and actually want to drag the rockets up a little bit because that is going to put it more towards the central mass. And the more we have towards the central mass, the better. It's just going to help us in general try to keep a better TWR, a thrust to weight ratio. If you keep everything a little bit more centralized, you help the thrust kind of push more into the mass of the rocket, more so than, than it being wasted on just like flexing around and, not pushing into the main part of the rocket. Go ahead and actually hang on a second. Put on symmetry mode. There we go. Now we have a little bit of stabilization for this rocket as well, and gives us a little bit of control moving around and getting that angle here for us. So we still have some reaction control. We are a little bit more centered. We should be good. Launch the rocket in 3, 2, 1, go. And we are going to be lighter now as well. We are down 1 fuel tank and we are down 1 engine. So we are going to be a little bit more central. We're going to be a little bit more fuel efficient, and we are actually tipping over surprisingly. How are we less aerodynamic? How are we less aerodynamic? How are we less aerodynamic? What are you talking about? We have central mass. We should not be less aerodynamic. Into the water we go. Oh, we're alive? we are not alive. Revert to launch. How are we less aerodynamic? Is it the wings? Do you not like the wings? I mean, hang on a second. Revert to VAB. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that it's gonna be because of the wings. There is no reason that we should be like off-centered, off kilt in general by getting rid of the divergence of our center mass by putting everything more central. That does not make any sense at all. So we need to make sure that we are actually somehow getting our correct, you know, utilization out of our wings here. Why don't we go ahead and put some tiny little, you know, stabilizers down at the very bottom of these giant rockets. Maybe that is going to help us out. Maybe, can I put one there? No, there we go. Now we're going to get one on every single one of them. Yeah, a tiny little stabilizer just to keep it centered. Let's try launching that and see if that's going to be an issue for us at all. We should be centered. We're doing good. Launch it. Hold prograde. Just, you know, keep holding forward. We shouldn't tilt over. Yeah, honestly, yeah, it was funny enough. Literally, those rockets, those stabilizers, the stabilizers were making us unstable. You know, the stabilizers that help us, you know, control our rocket and have, you know, more fluent and congruent, you know, control over its, you know, aerial and aerodynamic surfaces and able to tilt and, you know, give ourselves more inclination to the rocket. You know, those stabilizers, yeah, no, those they don't stabilize you. Actually, they make you unstable. You know, it's part of the description. You didn't read the user's manual? You know, like, what the hell? What's that all about? Our amp axis is already well above 70,000. So I'm going to go ahead and actually detach this point straight sideways. I mean, well, we're going straight up. That was some wasted fuel, that's for certain. Go ahead and just kind of try to get this thing horizontal again. It's a lot of wasted potential there. We could still kind of revert and give this thing another launch, but let's go ahead and see how far this thing puts us. We did do that. Yeah, not good enough. Not good enough. One last launch. DigiDs, I am feeling it in my blood with this one. Okay, I don't think I've even said that yet this episode. That right? I don't think I've even said it this. You know, I've said plenty of times like, oh, we're doing good, we're doing great. We're, you know, Wind at his back. She's Lois Lane. We're doing great. But I don't think I've ever had the moment of saying like, oh, this is the launch. I'm telling you, this is the launch that is going to carry us through to the end of the episode. I tell you what, we had a great run with what we just had. The only thing that I needed to do a little bit better was, you know, not lose control of the rocket and flip around and accidentally boost backwards, you know, and lose half of my velocity in doing so, you know, maybe a little bit of something different from that. I actually want to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and separate the rocket and the decoupler staging because I kind of want to decouple first, rotate a little bit, and then hang on, because yeah, now we're going to flip around. I don't like the fact that we are flipping around. Hang on, get going. We're doing fine. And now let's launch the rockets because I want all of my capabilities to go straight horizontal. If able, hold it. Yeah. Now we're talking. Now we got some straight up. Now, oh, that is spot on. Look at that spot on reticule right on the horizon right there. Now that's gonna be pushing out our, you know, velocity. Yo, look at it go. Oh, baby, now that did something special for us. I really hope that this is, you know, like the one because we are really getting some good progress here. I am getting a little bit of aerodynamic drag from this thing. So let's go ahead and detach that. Yeah, let that thing just kind of fall behind. Let it dissipate into the atmosphere. We need to get rid of our time warp. Now that we are out of the atmosphere, let's time warp up to the top of our apoapsis. Beautiful. And now we're going to point towards prograde, use our engine. We should be pretty fuel efficient, seeing as how we're just a single core, you know, rocket at the moment. The only issue is now that I'm looking at it, I don't know if this is going to get us to the moon. I don't know if this will get us to the moon because we are kind of struggling here. It's trying. It's just that we can get science up here. Oh, hey, transmit. Oh, why don't we? Yeah, go ahead and transmit that. I got the electrical power and I got the antenna power for it. We are kind of doing it. We still got more than half of our fuel. We are pushing out pretty far. There we go. Yeah, you know, hey, we got something going on here. we do have a orbit. We have successfully put ourselves into orbit, which is good. There is our periapsis. I'm gonna go ahead and time warp us all the way to the periapsis because you can push out your apoapsis a lot further from your periapsis, and likewise, you can take down your periapsis a lot better from your apoapsis. So you know, the low point helps push out the far point, and the far point helps take down the low point. You know, so I'm gonna go ahead and use at the low point. I'm gonna use this low point to push out our far point as far as I can, and try to get a capture window with the moon. However, I don't think I might just not have enough fuel for that to happen, because we are at about half fuel now and this thing is moving slow. It does kind of start to exponentially increase and get further and further, you know, the more and further it gets out, but I don't know if I'm gonna have enough to get there and back. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. We're getting pretty low on the fuel. It's starting to get to that point where it's gonna start exponentially shooting itself out. I might have to do a quick flyby and come right on back, because if I don't have an opportunity to do that, then this is going to be just pushing us way out into space. You know, we're going to have just a tiny bit of fuel. But worst case scenario, I do just transmit the science and then just don't let them come back home. You know, we are trying to get primarily science. This is kind of like our whole point. We're trying to get science. I think that's just gonna have to be our thing right there. Let's go ahead and just time warp. Let's get out a little bit far into space too, because we want to get out in space and use our Science Junior. Where is our antenna? Can I extend our antenna? Let's rotate around so it's in the sunlight. I can see what I'm doing here. I think the antenna is actually burned off, because I had antennas here on the front side, right? Like right here on the edge, and they're gone. Yeah, they're fully gone. I think they burned off. Well, I hope I still have signal well enough to kind of get back to Kerbin. Transmit all. Yeah, transmit all that science. Why don't you? We need to do a crew observation as well. Yep, transmit all. Beautiful. 48. And do we have enough electrical charge? Yeah, we do. And we have solar panels on here too, so it is going to recharge over time. Left finishes, and then how fast is my electrical charge coming back? Not very. It looks like we are actually on a -1, unless I take off SAS. If I take off SAS, you know, our reaction control systems, we do start to regenerate a little bit, which is good. Okay, so that's not too bad. Can we do any more science? I can probably do EVA here, right? Can I not do EVA? Why can I not do EVA? EVA is disabled due to an obstacle. Are you saying that it's a door blocked? Oh, it's barely blocked by the parachute. I can't do EVA science. Oh, okay. I see how it is. I see how it is, game. Fine. All right, let's increase our time warp and wait for an opportunity to get a orbit along with the moon. It looks like it's going to be coming around sometime soon. It's not going to be here. It's going to be maybe in a couple of orbits. What is our periapsis is down to 121,000. So our periapsis is real low down next to Kerbin. So we may have a good opportunity to actually go ahead and get back into the atmosphere of Kerbin once we do manage to get a meeting with the moon here, as we kind of wait for a moment to happen. We're not quite getting it though. Waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. We're not quite getting it. And keep on zooming around. I might just actually push out my orbit a little bit further, but I don't know if I want to do that because I'm dead low on fuel, because I am down to like nearly nothing. I need whatever we have left to just try to get back to Earth. Oh, we're gonna get it. We are gonna get it. We're gonna get it. We got a trajectory. Nice. And it looks like it's gonna put us right back to Kerbin with it too. Okay. Okay, we got this. We got this. Oh, baby. Okay. This is gonna be our one and only opportunity to kind of like get this going. Okay. We need to use this to our advantage to the best of our ability. So we are gonna zoom right on by. We're not gonna even get a low... Why is it why is it got me like way focusing out here? Hang on a second. Zoom on over. Let's look at the ship whiteout way, please. We're gonna get our little interaction here. We're not even gonna be low moon Earth orbit. We are gonna be high moon orbit. But there is enough for us to do some science. Science. Environmental, please, and thank you. Transmit all. We also need to do another observation. Run crew observation. Transmit all. Yeah, and there it goes. There it goes. Starting to get all that science transmitted. That is beautiful. Okay, so now that we have done that, if I go ahead and reduce my velocity a little bit, is it going to take me down into Kerbin a little bit further? What's this periapsis at right now? I can't quite tell, but I can look at the line. If I just do a little boost. No, that's pushing me out. That is pushing me out. I don't need to go out. I need to actually prograde. Prograde is actually going to push me closer in, surprisingly. Okay. Yeah, I saw it. It's at 230, 220. So using the moon's orbit right now, I'm using the moon's gravity, doing a prograde is actually going to help slow down the craft, or at least put itself into the trajectory using the moon to get me lower into the Kerbin's atmosphere. I need to get this thing at least down to 70,000, because that is going to be the Kerbin's atmosphere, and I'm going to have just enough fuel. Boom, just like that. 69,000. We are talking, baby. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, we have our science. Everything has been recorded. Time to go home. Time to go home. I believe in you. Yep, our periapsis is 69,000. Okay, so let's get up to our apoapsis. So let's actually drop down our lowest point a tiny bit. Point towards retrograde. Pointing towards just a tiny bit, because we are at 69,000 is a little high. 60,000 might be a little. 60,000 might be a little low. Let's go somewhere for like 64. Oh, that's too far now. Now we're at 71. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Can I get something like 65? I'll take 65, because as we come into the atmosphere, we are going to lose a little bit of altitude as well. So we're going to drop down even further into the atmosphere as we kind of start to hit it and, you know, slow down. I'm going to use the rest of my fuel. I'm going to, hello, my God, we are already in the atmosphere. We are at 69,000. Okay, resume time. There we go. Nice. Looking beautiful though, Kerbin. My God, hello. I'm gonna use the rest of my fuel to lower my trajectory just like right now. Just go ahead and just do this as we speak. Yeah, and get rid of that. Go ahead and wait for it, and toss it away. And there it goes. There it goes. Throw it away, why don't we? Just use as much surface area as we can right now too to just slow us down. Get rid of the mass, why don't we? Okay, that's working. That's working. We are lowering our periapsis at 65,000. So as we kind of like go through the atmosphere here, we're going to be kind of going back on up. We're going to have to do a few rounds. We have to do a few come arounds actually to slow ourselves down enough to really start to enter into the atmosphere. Would you believe that I've been sitting here for an entire hour and I'm still not quite taken out of orbit yet? This has all come from the fact that I could have used a little bit of extra fuel and put myself a little bit lower in orbit, and I would not have to spend an entire hour doing this. I've kind of just been sitting here watching Smosh in the background while I wait for my orbit to decrease. Funny enough, it keeps on lowering and lowering and lowering my apoapsis pretty good, all the way down to 541,000, but our periapsis has somehow managed to only lower by like the amount of like 2,000. So we were kind of almost accidentally putting ourselves into a perfectly circularized orbit. Now, something that is doing is the fact that we're technically entering the atmosphere for a longer period of time, because it is coming out, because we are kind of lowering down our apoapsis. We are coming in at a more shallow angle, more horizontal with the atmosphere. So we are staying in the atmosphere longer, which is helping take down the apoapsis a little bit, just more and more and more at a time. So I'd say give it another like 25 minutes and I might actually start going into the final approach of the atmosphere. Now, as I was looking at the science that we actually have here on board, there is something that I started to realize as that loud ding comes on through, a like deafening ding to let you know that you have science. Basically, what I've been taking a look here is that some science is able to be transmitted, but something like the environmental samples, you must be returned to KSC. So we are able to kind of transmit some of our science back to base, but a lot of this science, look at this, 50, 60, and we have another couple of ones that are all at, well, 0, but we have a couple that need to be returned back to base for more science. So that 50 and 60 alone is gonna be 110 on top of what we already returned. We're gonna be sitting good to the fact that we can probably unlock more modules to get to the moon landing parts and kind of really start to get ourselves coordinated and ready to be landing on the moon with those parts. But hey, if you guys definitely want to see that content, you got to make sure to like the video, comment down below, and subscribe and all that fun stuff. You need to let me know, give me some feedback to, you know, educate me, to let me know that, hey, you want to see more KST, you know, KSP2 content, because I would love to make content on this. You know, I'd love to do a little bit of a series, and you know, I might still return to it every once in a while regardless, but you know, if you guys do like it, of course I'll make more content on it more often. But yeah, we're gonna kind of see exactly where this goes, but I think tomorrow's gonna be more Dome Keeper, and honestly, I'm excited. I'm always fun to play a lot of these games and show you guys. You guys typically love to see a lot of these kind of roguelikes. You like to see a lot of the science games, you like to see a lot of the space games. You know, I'm really really glad to see that I start to kind of be building an audience around these particular genres and almost styles of games in general that you guys really like to see the most out of. You know, I definitely, more videos get more views compared to others on the genre and stuff like that. But, you know, in general, you guys seem to really kind of enjoy them. And, you know, that's great for me because I also enjoy making them for you. So, hey, I look forward to exactly making more content like this. And again, now the next time that you see this video cut, we are going to be on our final trajectory into the atmosphere and trying to figure out a way, some way to survive through the re-entry of the atmosphere, trying to burn through whatever belator that we have left. What do we have left? We have 0.07 at this point still. It is slowly dwindling. I'm down to 460,000 meters. I'm very surprised that my periapsis is not lowering down lower, and my apoapsis just keeps on doing it. It is getting a little ridiculous at this point. I have been doing this for over an hour now. I'm just waiting for this to happen, like an hour and like 10 minutes. But, you know, it is what it is. So I will see you guys when we're on the downside. All right, Digities, I think we are finally coming in for our very last final approach into the Kerbal atmosphere. Our apoapsis is only at 117,000, and our lowest point is at 61,000. Now, I've been having a little bit of an issue where a part of my ship is overheating for some particular reason. Like, we're not even going through the thick part of the atmosphere yet. We even just came through space, and for some reason, it seems to be kind of overheating. I'm going to chalk it up a little bit to the game just being a little bit buggy, to the fact that they have only recently added reheating, or, you know, they've only recently added, like, the heating element to the game. I know that originally it was not added to it, so along with the science and the heating element, they are also brand new. So, you know, I kind of expect some bugs along with it. There seems to be some kind of, a couple of heating issues, and we even seem to be kind of losing heat as we go through the atmosphere here, which is a little bit surprising. And, you know, even just to prove, if I go to settings, take a look at this, you know, heating is on, heating scaling on, it's all on. Nothing has been tweaked, nothing is scaled down or nothing of the sort. I think that this is going to be our last one all the way through. We might have to go through one more time. We have 0.05, 0.04 ablator left on our heat shield, and we are heating up a little bit surprisingly. I mean, like, the heat shield is right there. Like, there's absolutely no reason that this reaction wheel should be heating up right now with this heat shield in front of it. I understand that the ablator is a little bit gone, but it should be going all straight into the heat shield before it ever goes into the reaction wheel. I'm not entirely certain what that is all about. It is most likely definitely going to blow up in the atmosphere maybe when we come on screaming through it, but I guess we're just gonna have to go ahead and see what it has in store for us. I mean, the fact that it's already that hot and we're barely even coming through the atmosphere right now, but we are going to be coming through the atmosphere. Although I gotta say, we are coming through at probably one of the most lackluster, very smooth angle that you could ever possibly have, because we have been slowly just kind of taking down our atmosphere, or down our velocity, kind of going into the Kerbal atmosphere here. And I think we're definitely going to lose. Yeah, I think we might definitely lose this reaction wheel, but the heating bar is just barely away from max. I'm not entirely certain why it's heating up. I don't know why. It can't be because of the solar panel, like some weird heat transfer thing. If anything, the solar panel should blow up before it transfers to the reaction wheel. The heat shield is in the way, but you know what? We have been flying this ship long enough I have been now recording, and looking at my program, I've been recording for 2 hours and 40 minutes. And you guys are probably going to see maybe about 40 to 50 minutes of this footage. And a majority of that has all just been sitting there in orbit waiting for me to get down and me watching YouTube on the side. This is why I love having 3 monitors. One for OBS, one for the game, one for entertainment on the side. You know, hey, it is what it is. But I'm still very that thing is definitely going to blow up. But the thing is that if this thing blows up, I'm not going to have anything to protect the science lab. You know, I'm gonna have the parachutes. Although, to be said, I do have better parachutes this time, so maybe I'll land softer, or at least soft enough that I'm not going to break the Science Junior when I do land. Now, funny enough, I did hit my lowest point going all the way down, but because we kind of hit the low point and we're coming back up on our high point, our like altitude right now is actually going up, which is good because we're slowing down even more and more. Our entire orbit right now is within the Kerbal atmosphere, funny enough. So the entire thing is in the urban cabins. The entire orbital line is inside the Kerbal atmosphere. So we are doing a fantastic job of being able to slowly come into this atmosphere, literally probably at the most perfect angle you could literally ever ask for. And I'm not even using that word exaggeratingly. Like, I think this is the perfect way that you could ever come back into the atmosphere. Except the fact that for some reason this part is about to blow up. I don't know why it is overheating. Like it seems like it should be it shouldn't even be that bad. We're still 67,000 meters up in the air. We're barely hitting the atmosphere, and it just seems to be overheating for absolutely like no reason. I'm not entirely certain as to why. I don't know if that has something to do with like batteries. I don't know. I can turn off the power. Maybe there's too much sunlight that's been absorbed. I am not entirely certain, but that's probably about to blow up soon. Is it? I mean, I'm more worried about the fact that if it does blow up, am I going to be able to survive coming through the atmosphere with just the Science Junior? Because for some reason, this should be losing heat right now. I want to get off of time warp just to make sure it's not something to do with time warp, but this should be like losing heat right now. We are nearly in space. We're like 68, like 69,000 meters. And I'll have you know that I have actually restarted the game once already. So it's not like a load the game issue. It is definitely the game's a little bit broken kind of issue. So if I go ahead and just maybe point noseward first before we get to the thick part of the atmosphere, if I just keep the, you know, the back end away from it. No, I mean, well, it is actually coming down a tiny bit, but I can't tell if it's coming down because of the direction change or if it's coming down because we're at like 68,000 meters right now. I mean, it seems to have kind of saved it a tiny bit. I mean, I could come in nose first. I'm going to go ahead and actually quick save real quick because I don't know what is going to happen here. Do we want to go retrograde and come in ass end, or do we want to go nose first to protect our ass end and then just hope that we can slow it down fast enough with our nose first, even being aerodynamic, that we don't act like a missile, that we can actually activate the parachutes, because we still need to come down slow enough to activate the parachutes for them to deploy safely. Otherwise, they're just going to break and tear off instantly and not be able to get us to land at all. Now, funny enough, we are like floating. We're just like straight up floating up here at the top of the atmosphere right now. We're kind of just like at the very top, just kind of hitting it, bouncing up, hitting it, bouncing back down, bouncing back up, bouncing up, bouncing back down. We're not doing a whole lot, just kind of relaxing, chilling as we come on down, as we watch this thing shake itself. Oh my God. Shake itself to death pretty much. But we are starting to slowly come down, and we come over the horizon. I kind of hope we land in the sunlight. I don't want to be landing this thing, you know, when it's all dark. Like, I'd like to get a little bit of footage for everybody to look. Oh, look at that sunrise. Oh, baby. Oh, that, oh, triple. Oh, baby. Look at that. It's going to come over the nose cone. Now, that is one way to blind your viewers. Am I right? Oh, my God. You know, I got all the graphics on highest. You know, I think I did turn down the anti-aliasing like a tiny bit instead of like times 16 anti-sampling or whatever. It's like on like times 8 just to save myself a tiny bit of performance. But yeah, no, this is looking fantastic. Coming over, we are on the horizon. Am I going to be landing in the sunlight is the question. I think we will, because we're going to be kind of following the sun, and that is a long distance to go all the way around that, you know, half of the atmosphere here. We're already down to 59,000 meters. Yeah, I think that I think we're going to be landing in the sun, and I think that this is going to be our final orbit. If I were to go retrograde right now, it's just going to suddenly heat up amazingly to a point where it is not good. No, the heat seems to have dissipated away from last time. Again, I'm not entirely certain as to why this superstructure, or, you know, this reaction wheel appears to be heating up and now is cooling down. It seemed to have gotten hotter when we were up in space. And right now I just saw the temperature gauge go down, even though we're coming into the thicker part of the atmosphere. So not entirely certain as to what is going on with that reaction wheel, as to why it is overheating randomly. So yeah, just going to chalk it up to the fact that, little bit of a glitch, but this definitely is our final approach. We are starting to come in. Yep, our orbit is definitely going to be, yep, there it is. We are suborbital now. We're on the perfect trajectory possible that we could ever hope for to come in as slow as possible, which I think is going to be good, because how much ablator do we have left? We have 0.03 ablator. 0.02 ablator. 0.02 ablator of material left. So that this thing is looking gray and blackish and scarred and charred. This thing has essentially nothing left to it. But you know, hey, even after it gets rid of all this ablative material, the absolute like superstructure unit of what is the heat shield itself can still protect us a little bit from this re-entry heating, even though most of its flakes have been completely stripped away. It is 0.01. I think so, though. I could just be talking on it, but it could just instantly break apart and instantly heat us up out of nowhere. We are heating up as we come to the atmosphere, but honestly not too bad. We're not getting super plasmic. You know, we do got that plasma kind of cone mock diamond going right in front of our heat shield there. That's kind of, you know, giving us a protective layer. But we're doing halfway all right. We still got 0.01. It's probably about to be 0.00 any second now. but we're getting through the thick of it. We are going to be landing, looks like maybe in this desert. We're not going to quite reach the ocean, I don't think. Yeah, shield status ablating 0.01. I could have swore I just saw something break there a little bit. Oh, my drogue chute's opened. Oh, I'm kind of surprised that they even opened up like that. They had like 1,000 meters per second. You know, my God. Can I take a survey data of this area? Experiment for that region is already in storage. All right, fine, fair enough. I don't care. I don't want that research. Fine, cool. Yep, there we go. I don't want these things to deploy fully until like 1,000 meters again. Also, just like the last ones. We're just gonna be falling on down. You're gonna be landing in the desert. Look at this. We have finally made it, Digides. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just call it right now. We have finally made it down to the surface in general. Like, we have finally made it. Like, honestly, I have been up in orbit for the better part of like 2 hours, 49 minutes, and 9 seconds I've been recording. So I've been in orbit for quite a while. Here we are slowly drifting it down into the desert. We are not going to get a surface sample, sadly, but you know, we can get a survey sample of the area, dropping down safely. I cannot be happier. This may have taken absolutely forever, but we are going to be absolutely filled with science. Like, I cannot wait to sit here and see how much we have recovered, because we are going to have a lot. Especially using the desert here. You know, the desert is probably going to be worth like 10 or 20, but you know, hey, it is something. So I'm going to go ahead and actually quick save real quick, just in case the game wants to be dumb and like broken all of a sudden. But we're landing at 8 meters per second. Yep. Okay, good. Just enough. We are more than enough. Fine. We have touched down, Digides. Do a God, that's so loud. It's so loud. It's so loud. Look at that. Listen to that noise. My God, it's so loud. But we have made touchdown. We have actually made touchdown. Yes, please confirm recovery. I'm stumbling over my words too much right now because I'm actually befuddled right now. Where is my research and development? Oh my God, 387 science. 387. That is, we're just gonna have to wait for next episode. We can unlock so much stuff. We can do like reaction control systems, the mud landing, maybe long range probes. We don't even need the probes. We can do research miniaturization to get a smaller science junior, smaller payloads for more superstructures and cargo bays, and kind of like docking capabilities, more decoupling, basic truss systems, micro construction, all that fun stuff. Honestly, I'm excited. So yeah, if you guys want to see more content like this, again, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to, you know, the video in general and the channel. So hey, I still don't really know how to do any of these outros, but if there's one thing that I can always guarantee you, that I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you, and bye-bye.